Welcome back to the channel. We are here again with another mock draft with my younger brother Carson. And today we're picking from the number 4 and the number 10 spot, respectively. We have some breaking news before this recording, just a few hours old. Ezekiel Elliott to the New England Patriots. How do you feel about that, Carson?
It's a big change. It mainly hurts Ramondre Stevenson's value, and it's hard to say what will happen because we all know that Bill Belichick likes to use multiple running backs, and he certainly has them at his disposal. And now adding Zeke to the depth chart, I almost said Deke to the depth chart. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I've done a couple best ball drafts since the news, and I've seen Zeke rise in ADP as high as to the 12th round. Which is like right around when the news broke, and I've seen him kind of stay where he was prior. So
Yeah.
maybe
It'll
a
probably take
case
some
of
time.
maybe a case of informed drafter versus uninformed. But
Yep.
the interesting thing is that Ramondre Stevenson was unaffected in those drafts. So I'll be
Yeah,
interested
we'll
to see
see.
how. Yes, we will. Yeah, but I'll be interested to see how he gets affected in this upcoming draft and just the draft cycle in general. So with that being said, roster construction, 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, tight end, and a flex. And before we get started, if you've watched previous videos on the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? And if this is your first video, welcome to the channel. Hit the subscribe button. We're going to be pumping these out all preseason and regular season. All right, let's get started.
All right, here we go. I figure, let's see. Yep, just as I expected. That's a pretty predictable start. And I am going to go Travis Kelce.
Ooh, okay. So I like the pick, but go ahead and justify for the people why Kelsey over Eckler or Hill or Kupp or why.
I think that Jefferson and Jamar Chase are clearly elite wide receivers, and I think McCaffrey is clearly the RB1. So since all three of those options are taken, I'll take the clear elite tight end. It's not just because it's the one more position that's elite. It's just he does give you such an advantage. And whereas all those players that went after him, it's hard to say who will finish ahead of each other. So I'm just going to go for the Kelsey pick, is my thinking.
I like that. That's a very savvy move on your part. I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson for my first pick. I love
like
the
that.
upside. The sky is the limit for this kid. He's the greatest running back prospect since Saquon Barkley, who went just before him in this draft. And I'm
At
excited.
the 10,
about
that's great.
Yeah, I love that upside.
Yeah.
Up next, I'm going to grab Devontae Adams. He is just all reliable, and he
Mahomes.
has a fantastic combination of floor and ceiling.
Yeah, I like that for sure. Okay. It would have been cool to get Mahomes and pair him up, but that was probably unlikely to happen. Mahomes is more early second round, it seems, at least in 12-team drafts. I'm not going to get a quarterback. I'm seeing these running back options. I see Ramondre Stevenson. And I'm going to go for... Is Josh Jacobs still in contract dispute? I believe that's true.
He is. As of this recording, he has yet to report to training camp. I don't believe there's really anything new on that front. I'm going to look really quick.
You know, I'd love to get
Receiving
one of these wide
interest-
receivers. Sorry, go ahead.
Receiving interest from Broncos and Chiefs. That's bold to be an
Interesting.
in-division trade. I would
kidding.
really doubt that to come to fruition.
Agreed. I'm liking these wide receiver options, but if Jacobs and Pollard are both gone, I feel like I'd be kicking myself, so I'm going to take Tony Pollard here.
Yeah, that's fair. Ezekiel Elliott was kind of the big looming threat to return to Dallas, so I think that that's more of a good idea than not going Pollard there.
Yeah, and then I'm going to happily take Chris Olave. Almost took him with my previous pick, so there you go.
Yeah, good call. Lots of upside in a improved passing offense with Derek Carr.
For sure.
Okay, so here I'm looking at Breece Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs, Lamar, Debo, Calvin Ridley. I've already got Bijan, so I'm happy with that. I think what I'm going to do here, let's look ahead to what's available. So coming up, there's some pretty decent options, both running back and wide receiver. I'm a little tempted to go quarterback here, just because Lamar Jackson is kind of that last elite option available.
Yeah.
And with what I can expect to make it back to me on my next pick, it may not be any quarterback. So I'm going to grab Lamar here and then kind of pick up the pieces with what's left.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
that's fair.
So now Ken Walker, Keenan Allen, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones. Those are kind of my top considerations. Because of the PPR upside, I'm leaning towards Joe Mixon here over Ken Walker. And again, I'm going to look ahead just to make sure if I like some of the options. See, there's some good tight ends and running backs around my next pick. So I'm actually going to grab Keenan Allen here.
Fair enough. Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen's a pretty good starting wide receiver duo. Dang it.
Yeah,
I would have loved to
they've
get
been-
Joe Mixon.
They've been good for a really long time, and I think Keenan is declining over the past few seasons, but we expect better health. We expect Justin Herbert to bounce back. So I think Keenan Allen still has some left in the tank for sure.
Yeah, I think that's true. All right, let's see. It's kind of hard for me to pass up DeAndre Hopkins right here. I'm not even gonna lie. And yeah, what do I do? That is the question. I mean, Justin Herbert would be good, but I think I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer in this draft for quarterback. Because
Yeah,
I
that's
think
fair.
I want my second running back after I take DeAndre Hopkins here. And we'll see what happens. A lot of tight ends off the board.
Yeah, and there goes
Okay,
Herbert.
there goes Herbert. So if he was gonna tempt me, he is not anymore because he just went. Okay, so I think I'm pretty high on Alexander Madison. I really am.
You are. So before you make that selection, I want to ask you what your thoughts on Miles Sanders are with the new team.
No, I like Miles Sanders. I do. He's the one I would draft instead of Alexander Madison. It just, I mean, we saw 2 seasons ago 0 rushing touchdowns. Last season, a ton. And it just, he needs to be getting those touchdowns if he's going to be in a bad offense. So I'm glad that last year was the good version. But I don't know. I'm high on Alexander Madison. I know what he's like whenever Dalvin Cook was injured, and now he is their starter. So I don't know. It's hard for me to turn a blind eye on that. So I took him there.
Yeah, fair enough. He actually falls beyond Miles Sanders, falls past J.K. Dobbins, which couldn't be me.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't do that either.
But that's what the computer decided, and we can't fault him too much. I am kicking myself a little bit that Trevor Lawrence is here, but I think the rushing upside that Lamar offers is far and away better than what Trevor Lawrence can do in a 4-point passing touchdown league. So with that in mind, I've already taken a bet on the Falcons offense with Bijan Robinson. I am tempted to go Kyle Pitts here. However, Drake London's looking at me.
Yeah.
And the options here at running back afterwards are not great. So I'm a little conflicted here for a moment. I do need to get a second running back. I have 2 wide receivers already. Looking ahead to what I'll be expecting on my next pick. So I want to grab tight end, running back, and wide receiver with my next 2 picks. I can't do that, obviously. So give me a moment here to scroll down and see what I'm working with.
Just while I'm at it, I can talk about Miles Sanders more just because I was curious. Yeah, 2021, 0 rushing touchdowns, 11 in 2022. So it will be interesting to see what he gets at the Panthers. I'm just giving you time to stall, basically.
No, you're good. Okay, so here's my thought process. I've got 3 really, really strong tight end options and 2 people picking between me. So I'm going to pass on tight end for now. And then I am going to grab DeAndre Swift with my next pick.
Let's hope they don't double up.
Very unlikely. So Bijan and Swift, I'm happy with those 2. And then my choice between Dallas Goedert and Darren Waller, it's kind of a tough call just because I think Darren Waller has a better path to leading his team in targets at the Giants. Dallas Goedert obviously on the higher octane offense. And for that reason, sorry, I didn't mean to click on him. For that reason, I'm going to give Dallas Goedert the edge here. Just I like his upside a little bit better in terms of health, especially.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Alvin Kamara being taken. Don't know if I would have gone for him. I would have been kind of.
I think there's an obvious choice on the board here.
Yeah, and it's Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, good.
So there you go. Don't need to stall. I got my next pick coming up anyways.
That's
Christian
fantastic value.
Christian Kirk falling to me would have been nice, honestly. But I agree because I almost took Lawrence with my 4th or 5th round pick. So there you go. I probably would have taken Herbert before him. I guess I consider him with my 5th. That's probably likely what was happening. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's see here. I believe that I am going to go Mike Evans at my flex because I like his upside in my flex position.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think last season, obviously, not the best performance from him. However, we can expect with Baker Mayfield taking over the helm, likely, that Mike Evans is a big touchdown maker, and that's what that offense needs with a team led by Baker Mayfield. So I like Mike Evans to kind of bounce back this year. My next pick coming up, I've got some pretty good options at running back here. Beyond that, kind of less inspiring. So I'm kind of opting to pass on Jordan Addison. If he makes it back to me, I'll be happy to take him. But I am going to grab, I think I'm going to grab David Montgomery for the touchdown upside.
Yep. I think
Addison goes.
That's fair.
I can live with that. And honestly, Jahan Dotson, I think, is not too far off from Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
So based on, at least based on ADP on multiple platforms, they go very close to each other. So I'm gonna go with Dotson here as my flex.
Yeah, I like that pick. Okay. Let's see here, and as I start filling up my bench. Nothing too exciting here at the moment, if I'm being honest. But I think I'm gonna go with Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
Yeah, the fact that he could be wide receiver 2 in a good offense, that's enticing. And let's see here. I think I'm gonna pass on running back again because I'm just not really loving any of the options, and I'm liking the wide receiver options because I am going to go Juju.
I love that pick.
Yeah, we've talked about him in previous mock drafts. I think he's got a great opportunity being the wide receiver 1 of that offense.
Yeah, I think he's really undervalued going into drafts this year.
I can't believe he's only 26. That just is...
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came into the league real early.
Yeah, he did.
All right, so I've got some choices here. A lot of running backs to choose from between Penny, Charbonnet, not really interested in P. Ryan all that much, and then Khalil Herbert as the number 1 in Chicago. I could see a situation where one of those guys realistically makes it to me. So I think I'm going to grab Odell Beckham to pair up with Lamar. I did respond to a comment on a previous video about how I don't really prioritize stacking Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson because of their rushing upside, and they become less correlated with their pass catchers based on success. But here, given my options, I think it's totally fine to go for it. And OBJ is another guy. I am creating kind of a crew of aging wide receivers, minus Jahan Dotson, of course. But yeah. I don't know. These guys have historically been great. Odell Beckham was really solid when he was with the Rams 2 seasons ago. So I think it's entirely possible on a new offensive coordinator-led Baltimore offense that OBJ could shock us all and show us that he's still got what it takes.
Yeah.
And then Khalil Herbert made it back to me. I'm happy with that, taking a starting running back this late in the draft. We're in the 10th round here. So I'm going to grab that. And
I would have loved to have Herbert or McKinnon fall back to me, which probably was unlikely, but
that's what happens when you wait too long on running back.
Yeah, and I have. I guess I'll go Alan Lazard. No, I got to get a running back here. And I think that's going to be Devon A. Chain. Just has that potential to emerge out of that backfield, and it's a good offense.
Yeah, let me ask you, unless I've overlooked it, have you taken a tight end yet?
Travis Kelce.
Attaboy. Okay.
Yeah, I did not forget. Oh, shoot! Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, looking at the board.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay. Let's see. And then I think... Oof.
This is your chance to take Bateman. You know he's your boy.
Yeah, he's my boy, all right. I think that I am going to go... Gosh. Don't love what I did to myself for running backs, but... Oof. I guess I'll go... Tank Bigsby. Just another rookie. Just kind of the same rationale as A-Chain, although he's less likely because ETN's ahead of him. But
Yeah,
just the
so-
same thinking.
There has been some hype around Bigsby. They had their preseason game, their first preseason game a little while ago, and Bigsby was kind of taking the goal line work, so that may actually pay off for you. ETN, I don't know, he's just not really a top priority for that offense for whatever reason to get all three down. So
It was interesting having him on my roster last season. It was very hot and cold with him.
yeah,
And
that
kind
pick
of
that
just
you
based
made-
off of how much they wanted him that week.
Yeah, might just pay off later down the road.
Yeah.
Okay, so I already have a tight end. Don't need that. I could handcuff Tyler Algier with Bijan Robinson. That kind of constraints my roster flexibility a little bit, so I'm going to opt to avoid that. I'm just going to bank on Bijan being young and healthy and go for upside somewhere else. So let's take a flyer on Darnell Mooney and the Chicago offense being a little bit better at passing the ball.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right, and then with my next pick, Rashee Rice is looking at me, Rondale Moore. I could grab Zeke and probably be done drafting running backs. Bijan, Swift, Montgomery, Herbert. Yeah, I'll take Zeke as my last running back. Root for my Patriot.
I think that's fair. That does solidify your running back core. Oh no! I would have loved Rondale Moore. Come on. Why?
You're sniped by that bot. He took
I really
Bateman,
am.
too.
Well, that was after me.
I know, but he's just like, you're not. He's not getting back to you, sucker.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay. Let's see. I heard Tyler say this guy's name recently. He's a big college football fan. He's our editor of this channel. So this one's for you, Tyler. I'm going to take Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah. I like him a lot. He's one of my sleepers in best ball that I've been targeting pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Just because that Giants passing, that receiving core is wide open.
Yeah. For sure. Okay. And I do have 4 running backs, and I don't love them. I'm not going to lie. And I got 6 wide receivers, and I like the depth that I have there. So I guess I kind of am going to look at running back and go... Well... Yeah, I'm going to go Kareem Hunt.
Talk through what you're thinking.
Sorry. Kareem Hunt. I just see all these options, and it's just like, who knows? Whereas Kareem Hunt, he'll land on a team, and that's going to... I mean, if you're drafting, if you're drafting at the end of August, beginning of September, he's still on a team, I would be nervous. But once he's on a team, if this was the real draft, getting him in the 13th round is great value. So, I mean, that's just... We say that a lot in these mock drafts, but...
Interesting how you go from saying that everyone is like a what if or a who knows, and then you go with the guy that doesn't have a team. That's interesting to me.
Well, because he'll be on a team. You know he will. And as soon as he's on a team, he's much better than all those what ifs. Who knows?
Potentially, yes. He's been jumping around to a variety of teams. Most recently, the Colts, I want to say.
He's just checking them all out.
Yeah, he's just kicking tires. Good for him.
I see 2 days ago, latest news, Vikings see Kareem Hunt as potential fit. Well, I got my handcuff because I have Alexander Madison, so it worked out. Didn't
Oh, that's right. The Vikings is the most recent. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, Zay Jones here. No one's really moving the needle here for me. Michael Gallup, I can live without. DJ Chark. I mean, these are my last 2 picks here, folks, and it's getting pretty slim. So, honestly, I think that I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna reach quite a bit actually. I'm gonna grab John Mechie and then expect for KJ Osborne to make it back, which I'd be shocked if he didn't. And my thought process with those two: Mechie, the third wide receiver, presumably on Houston. He has the opportunity, since we haven't seen him play a lot other than preseason. He has the potential to rise up that depth chart. Not a lot of target competition on that team. And KJ Osborne, he's listed currently as the number 2 in Minnesota. Jordan Addison could very realistically take that spot from him. But to be completely honest, these are my last picks in the draft, and I'm okay with cutting them after a few weeks if they're not performing.
Ugh. That's how I feel. Whoa, I just got taken out of the draft. Well, that's interesting.
Okay, we'll cut back to whenever you're good.
Yeah, I'll be there in a second. I think that I'm going to go wide receiver here. I know that for sure. It's just about which one I really tickles my fancy the most. And honestly, at this point, I just target team. And I don't even really know Justin Ross. And every time I try to click on him, it takes me out of sleeper. So maybe that's the sleeper gods telling me not to pick him. But I mean, it's the Chiefs' offense, and who knows? They're probably gonna cut. That's probably gonna be the first guy you cut once you see someone emerge on the waivers. So if he has a great week 1 with the Chiefs, then he's enticing. But if not, bye. And that's how much I feel attached to him as my last pick in the draft.
With a season projection of 6.7, I believe that is a definite deep sleeper pick.
For the season?
Yes.
What? He was the top wide receiver on the board.
Yeah, believe it. It's all hype, baby. All right,
he's 6'4" and 210. I love this guy now. No, underdog story for Justin Ross.
Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a recap here. You can go first as you picked first.
All right. So I took Kelsey to get myself the elite tight end to start the draft, and then I got my RB1 in Tony Pollard, wide receiver 1 in Chris Olave. Rest of my starting lineup is Alexander Madison as my RB2, old man DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver 3, Mike Evans flex, and then T-Law as my quarterback. And got some depth at wide receiver to start off my bench with Brandon Cooks and Juju Smith-Schuster. Then went for some rookie running backs, Devon A-Chain, Tank Bigsby. Then got Jalen Hyatt for his rookie upside as well, and an offense that doesn't have clear-cut wide receiver core. And then Kareem Hunt, and my guy, Justin Ross.
Okay. I went with Bijan first and took DeAndre Swift in the 5th, then Montgomery in the 7th, Khalil Herbert in the 10th, and Ezekiel Elliott in the 12th round. My wide receivers were Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, Jahan Dotson, Odell Beckham, Darnell Mooney, John Mechie, KJ Osborne. With my wide receivers, I love my first 2. The rest, I'm not really sold on, but I did grab a 3rd running back earlier than I typically do, so I can certainly flex David Montgomery or Khalil Herbert, or maybe even Ezekiel Elliott on some weeks, and feel pretty comfortable still. Took Lamar Jackson as my elite QB option in the 3rd, and then grabbed Dallas Goedert in the 6th, and I'm perfectly happy with him. I think he's going to be completely locked in as a top 5 tight end every week, so I love that for him. And that's how it went. Not my favorite draft that we've done so far by any means, but picking from the 10 can be tough, and that's how it rolls sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just checking out Justin Ross right now.
Okay,
that's all I have to say.
Good thing we can't see your screen, am I right? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. We will be having another one of these on the channel very soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment because, hey, I might just reply. All right.
Peace out, everyone.